Hello, my friends. We have a new episode. Magda Goebbels, the first lady of the Third Reich, I call her, born in 1901, and she died in the Führerbunker 1945, May the 1st. She was the wife of the propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels. Everybody knows him and everybody knows the story. The mother of the six children that died together in the Führerbunker. One of Adolf Hitler's closest confidants, we can also say. And the woman, yes, who ultimately chose death together with her children in the Führerbunker. That was the tragic event everybody remember, maybe. She was the first lady also of the Third Reich, unofficially, we can say. But without doubt, she was an important person within the Nazi propaganda machine. While some would give the title to the wife of Hermann Göring, the second wife of Hermann Göring, Emmy Göring, that was also a pretendant of the title. But how did a well-bred Berlin girl from, yes, we can say strict bourgeois family background become the queen of the National Socialist movement and a confidant of the Führer? Why was she drawn to power, to cult-like political movements, and how did her life intervene religion, politics, and destructive fanaticism? In this episode, we will not only talk about the female role in Nazi Germany, but also about how Magda Goebbels' story reflects one of the greatest tragedies of the 20th centuries, a generation mesmerized by totalitarian ideology whose final act was written in the underworld of Berlin in the Führerbunker. Yeah, this is the story of the so-called Nazi Madonna, a dark myth she built around herself. Let's see her early life. Yeah, what was her early life? Yeah, she was born in 91 in Berlin as Johanna Maria Magdalena Behrendt. Her biological father was Oskar Ritschl, a mechanical engineer who left the family shortly after her birth. So theoretically, she was born as Ritschl, yes, and later she was Behrendt because her mother August Behrendt divorced him in 1905, so then she had the name of the mother, Behrendt. In 1908, her mother remarried. She remarried a Jewish guy. This is, I think, many people don't know. She remarried a Jewish guy, a wealthy Jewish guy, an industrial, Richard Friedlander, a wealthy, assimilated Jewish textile industrialist, like a prototype from, yeah, we can say also German propaganda, who lived and worked in Brussels. Friedlander adopted Magda, which elevated her both socially and in name, so she get immediately up to the higher bourgeois class. This episode is deeply ironic in light of the fact that Magda would later become one of the most emblematic figures of Nazi anti-Semitism. Yes, so there we have a great change. The childhood in Brussels, because her father, Richard Wichel, not the father, the Jewish industrialist who adopted Magda, lived in Brussels. So the family moved in 1908 altogether to Brussels, where Magda grew up in affluent surroundings. So she was wealthy, in a wealthy family. Everything what wealthy families do. Private education. She learned French. Yeah, that's a classic. The I can say maybe the snobbish aristocrat bourgeois culture around her, and attended part of her schooling in a Catholic girls' institution. So we say that the guy Friedlander was an assimilated Jew, more a Jew on paper. This religious background left a lasting mark on her personality. So the Catholic school, they say, it has an impact as a young woman. So Magda was deeply interested in everything connected with spirituality and religious communities. Yeah, when I think a lot of young women are interested in spirituality. So it's maybe not only because she was on the Catholic school, my comment. Yeah, then there came the First World War. The outbreak of war in World War One in 1914 was very abrupt and disrupted this peaceful bourgeois childhood in Brussels. In Brussels, Magda was enrolled in the Ursuline convent school of Vilvoorde, where she was remembered as a lively and intelligent girl. At that time, she came closer to Catholicism, as I said, interested in spirituality and so. And for a brief period, wanted even to become a nun. Yeah, that is remembered by Alan Bullock in Hitler and the Third Reich. Although she later abandoned that desire, her mystical tendencies and religious fervor, yeah, resurfaced maybe later in her political life. Historic says. The family remained in Brussels from 1908 until the outbreak of war because this was the point when many German nationality people left Belgium because Belgium was at war with Germany. So Belgium was really fighting against Berlin, and it was maybe not. So the German decided to go back. In 1914, they returned to Germany, where the hardships of war, political uncertainty, left deep impression on Magda, but not only on Magda. That was it was a time that left impressions on every German. Behrendt divorced Friedlander that same year. So why? I think it was also a problem that Behrendt lost his money. He was a wealthy industrialist in Brussels, functioning in Brussels. Coming back to Germany, he lost his industrial imperium, and maybe Behrendt was not so interested in the guy anymore. So that is my interpretation. Education and social integration followed in Germany for Magda. So she had to get to she had to be at new in school and secondary education. For Magda, everything was new. The family moved back to Berlin, where she attended the Kolmorgen Gymnasium. Contemporaries described her as an intelligent, well mannered, and ambitious young woman, already attracted to power and a privileged lifestyle. Yeah, that's an opinion made by Goethe. Goethe wrote an extensive not Kampf, that's Hungarian, book about Eva Braun. Yeah, I don't. Eva Braun, and so here she made also a statement about Magda. And now we will speak about the fate of Richard Friedländer. We saw that Magda Goebbels' mother, August Beren, divorced from Richard Friedländer, and he had to, yeah, he he was then facing a difficult situation.